We are live. Okay, guys, welcome. Welcome to this episode of PEPTalk, Productive Environment Podcast. This is going to be a good one, so you guys are going to want to settle in. Make time for you. Okay? Get your health back on your calendar. How many of you guys sacrifice your taking care of yourself for all the other tasks and projects and all the other things that you have to do, and your health gets put on the back burner? I think we have all been there in different seasons of our lives, right? So today I'm so excited to be joined by our very own certified productive environment specialist, Juliana Kathman. If you're in North Carolina, Juliana is one of our North Carolina connections. She's up near the Charlotte area. And let me just take this picture off and I'll let you hear from her directly. I am Andrea Anderson. I am the CEO of Productive Environment Institute and the host of Productive Environment Podcast. And we're here to give you a pep talk today. And I'm joined today by
Juliana Kathman. I'm the owner of Organized by Juliana.
All right. And you are in Statesville, is that correct? Statesville,
yes.
Up near Charlotte. Okay. Juliana also works virtually as well. So no matter where you're listening from, if you want to learn more about Juliana, you can certainly connect with her. But yeah, thanks, Ed. Organizedbyjuliana.com. You can check her out there. But I wanted to talk with Juliana today because Juliana, as long as I've known you, health has been a priority for you. Right. And I know, I think many of us would say that health is a priority for us, but do our calendars show that? Number one, right? Do our calendars, because I heard a long time ago, back when people wrote checks, that you can really tell somebody's priorities by their calendar and their checkbook. Right. So what they put on their calendar and who they pay money to. Right. So now that we wouldn't say checkbook now, but what do we say? Zelle or something. But and you've always had health ever since I've known you. Health has been a priority for you. And you were sharing with me that the SOAR system, the productive environment system, the finding system, all of the above, the systems that we teach at Productive Environment Institute and that you are certified in, that those systems allow you to truly focus on your health. So can you expand on that? What did you mean by that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have always had it as a priority, and I've been using the tools from Productive Environment Institute and what I've learned for years. Mm-hmm. So along that way of saving that time, I have been able to set aside the time that I need to eat properly, set up my nutrition, which is one of my priorities. Mm-hmm. And whether that's involved in, researching for anti-inflammatory diets, or if it's for meal prepping on Sundays, setting time out to do the groceries, and making an actual list and a plan for what I'm going to eat, because we are busy and it's so easy to go through those drive-thrus. But now, especially as it's getting more expensive, but also for our health, it's very important. I realized that what I was doing was not something that I was doing. It was what I was lacking that made me sick. So I need to make sure that I'm getting my proper nutrition, my proper vitamins and supplements.
Right. And so, okay, let's talk about the tagline that Barbara and I in Productive Environment Institute have used for years is accomplish your work and enjoy your life. And there are a lot of productivity gurus out there, like get more done, getting things done, get more done, right? And a lot of times people get more done so they can get more done. They continue getting more done so they can add more to their plate and get more done. So you really have epitomized this phrase, because I mean, enjoying your life in this context is taking care of your health. Like you're taking care of yourself.
Absolutely.
So
making yourself a priority.
Yeah.
Because so many times, especially women, are trying to do everything, and you can't do everything. Something is always sacrificed. And that's what happened to me. I got sick. So I was diagnosed with epilepsy in my 30s. and I had to make changes. And I had to make changes to my lifestyle, to my work habits, to, and it's taken me years of learning my triggers. And so now I was up to having migraines one day a week. That put me in bed one day a week. That's loss of 24 hours a day, so it's always seemed to be behind. Now those are under control. And so I continue to make sure I'm not perfect. And I do sometimes I mess up my sleep schedule, or something happens and I have to be up late or something like that, or or I don't eat until later and the sugar drops a little bit, and different things like that. I have to make time for myself. I had to prioritize myself.
You were forced to. There comes a point where we all like to, try to, want to, but then there's times that we're forced to. Your body just says, something's got to change here. Yeah. So you mentioned, let me share Kathy's comment here. Kathy, New Path Productivity near Chicago. Greetings, ladies. Love this topic. Taking care of ourselves is typically the first thing dropped when things get hectic. Exactly. And it should be the last thing. It should be the last thing. Why is it the first thing? Right. So, so I'm hearing you saying that the systems that we teach, whether it's and if you'll elaborate on this a little bit, whether it's the finding system itself, where you can, where you file anything that you file, you can find in seconds. Whether it's our SOAR board, let me just share a quick screenshot of our SOAR board. Whether it's our SOAR board that helps you, helps you decide whether something is an action or a reference, and then where it goes, so you can find it. Everything we do is about finding things quickly, right? So you can get to what you need when you need it, right? So we have lots of tools, and we've got the systems in Barbara's foundational teachings. And you're saying that learning those things, implementing those things in your own life has given you more time to focus on the other things. So your health. So tell us, what was life like before you came to PEI, before you implemented these systems? What was like an average life of Juliana like with that respect?
Well, always feeling like I was behind. And our task lists are always long, and we all have general long, but I set it up so that I'm accomplishing certain things during each day, making productivity, of what I need done. But because I'm taking time out for myself, I am able to not lose the other time of when I get sick and go too far. So I can be healthy for longer. So therefore I'm not, blocking out sick time.
Yeah. That's a really good point. And you have a lot of roles in your life. You are a business owner. You have clients. You're a caregiver. You have have other people that you are responsible for, or accountable to, I guess. And so you really, when people say, I don't have time to go to the gym, or I don't have time to meal prep, or I don't have time to be healthy, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because do you have time to be sick? Do you have time to be laid up in the hospital?
Exactly.
Right. I mean, that puts things in perspective. And I don't know. I mean, I do a lot of things that I think I can attribute this to certain things that I do, but I have not had so much as a cold since 2019. Like, I have not been sick in 7 years. I used to be sick all the time. I was sick all the time. Like, I'd get a cold every 3 weeks. That's what it felt like. But I have not been sick. Not a cold.
And when you think back, it's amazing when you can think back, because no flu or no major setback.
And I think it's a combination of things. I am prioritizing sleep. And I want to go back to sleep. You mentioned sleep. I am prioritizing sleep. I have worked out. In fact, I've got Demetrius on here now. He's watching. Hey, D. Demetrius says, SOAR, making time for productivity. That's right. SOAR, SOAR to success, making time for productivity. And he teaches people the exact thing we're talking about, how to be healthy, how to live a healthy, fit lifestyle, DFit. And so I have been working out with D and DFit, and he's got clients. Juliana, I know we talked about earlier about your exercise is a next priority for you. Like D works with people all over the country. And it's not so much about the training itself. It's about the consistency and the accountability. I have never in my life been this consistent with exercise until over the last 16 years I have been. But before that, I'm 56. So for 40 years before that, I would start, and I know you guys listen and you can relate to me and you can relate to Juliana. I would start something, I'd quit. I'd quit. Maybe 3 months in, the New Year's resolutions. And then by, not even 3 months, by February, that was out the window. So I was very inconsistent with exercise for 40 years of my life. I mean, if you count growing up time, let's say 30 years, from 10 to 40, I guess. So that has made a huge difference. So I think me not getting sick is definitely attributed to that. And it's not, I don't go to the gym for 3 hours and, bust it out and, I'm there 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes, but it's the consistency of those 30 minutes a day that make a difference 5 days a week. So let's go back to sleep though for a minute, because I think that's a big contributor. I mean, I think it's probably maybe the biggest contributor to our health is getting a good night's sleep, getting proper sleep consistently. And I'm like you, Juliana, I do have my moments or my nights where I stay up a little too late. Like in fact, Dee said, let's see, thank God for Storeboard and Claude. Yeah, Claude is my new BFF. I'm staying up late sometimes working on things with AI and having fun with it, enjoying it and building with it and creating with it. But that can easily turn into staying up, burning the midnight oil.
Absolutely, because that creativity, when you're at that point and you're, you don't want to stop if you're on a roll, and it's really hard. But then I know if I do not do that wind down at the 10 o'clock mark, I am in trouble the next day. So yeah, I am not one of those people that could work a schedule like the nurses do or work a night shift. And I mean, I'm glad that there is people that can do that. But for my health, I cannot do that. And I require 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night. And that's a lot to some people. Yeah. And but I've realized that I can be my best with adequate sleep.
Yep. I agree. And it's so funny you just said that, because my mom's on here. Mom, I'm going to show you real quick. So smile. There's Mom. Mom remembers when I was in kindergarten. You remember when we used to get naps in school? You guys remember? We used to get naps in school. I don't know if they still do that. Do they?
I don't think so.
I don't know, guys. Somebody mentioned in the chat if your kids are getting naps at school, at least in kindergarten. But Mom, you even said, and I remember this, I was always the last one to wake up. I was the last one. Like I always needed more sleep than everybody else. Right. Yeah. I'm not going to unmute you. So you can just, yeah. Okay. Very good. I just wanted my backup confirmation. So yeah, like Juliana, I've always needed more sleep than the average. They say average is 7 to 8 hours. And I'm like you, 9, I could probably do 9, but at least 8, I'm at my best. 7.5 to 8 is my best. And when we sacrifice sleep, it's difficult. It's difficult to make it impacts decision making. So, Barbara's famous quote, our founder, is clutter is postponed decisions. When you have clutter, whether it be physical clutter, digital clutter, your decisions are, is it an action, something I need to do? Is it a reference, something I need to keep? Or is it a toss, just get rid of it, delete it? And when we don't have enough sleep, our decision-making is impacted. Decisions on, Juliana, what to eat, Like, do I just whip through this drive-through because I didn't prepare? And what should I have? Or decision making on, should I do some exercise? Should I go for a walk? What are your thoughts on that? The impact of sleep on your decision making for your health?
Yeah, I mean, when you're exhausted and then you're standing in front of the refrigerator and you just open it up and go, oh, I can just eat that Jello, real quick, and be done with it, But if something's, prepped ahead of time and you make that plan ahead of time, it's not such a big deal. It becomes so much simpler because it was planned ahead of time. And I think that's the way it is with a lot of tasks that I've come across. I used to have these tasks that would linger, not just day to day, but week to week, month to month. And I was just like, well, it didn't take that long if I just did it.
I just did it. So you're talking about procrastination.
Oh yeah.
So how have these systems impacted your procrastination? Now, I still procrastinate some, so
I do too.
We do, don't we?
Because I need to get my rest. I have to remind myself all the time, because otherwise I keep going.
Yeah.
So but that's I'm always able to reset. I love what Kathy teaches about Sundays, planning your week ahead on a Sunday, and that I do. And that's a big game changer for me, because Monday to me is like a reset. I feel great on Mondays. I am ready to conquer that week on Mondays. And it seems like several people seem kind of grueling, but ever since I've been doing the productive environment, Mondays is a great day for me. Yeah. And I know that, come Friday, I'm going to be tired. So the tasks that I put in on Friday are the ones that are kind of a no-brainer kind of task. Something that, if I could just, clean up a little bit, or, put her around the house or something like that, just things that I don't have to really think too hard on. That's what I would plan on a Friday evening or Friday afternoon, because I'm just kind of burnt by then,
Yeah, but you're energized on Monday. So
yeah.
So tell us about. I know Kathy has been doing these Sunday weekly reviews for a very long time. I don't know what number you're on, Kathy. You have to tell us. But you go, Juliana. No Sunday scaries for us. That's right. So what does Kathy has shared on this podcast, actually, what her Sunday routine looks like? What does your Sunday routine look like? And are you going into it thinking of it as a review from last week, or a preview of this coming week, or a little of both? What does Sundays look like?
I would say it's a little bit of both, because I have to track my mileage. So I go back and I track everything from the previous week. So I have everything in my calendar of what I have done for that, that week. And then I review my tasks, so I know what's been done and what needs to be done. And then that's when I prioritize, is Sunday.
Okay.
What is this week going to be about?
Yeah.
And so what am I going to focus? Does it always work the way I planned it?
Yeah.
Things happen. Life happens.
That's right.
But I have been able to increase productivity. I think sometimes I can do in a half day what I think some people don't get done for the week is way sometimes I feel, Yeah. Because I can just go from one task to the next because I'm prepared and I'm planned.
Yeah. And you're not, I'm going to guess this, you're not stressed and running ragged on Sunday. It's like a debrief day, like a calm day for you to make those decisions and do the review and go forward. So I think that makes a big difference. You're not trying to do your planning or your tasks on a busy day that's stretching you from here to there. You're doing it on a day that seems like it's a calmer day, and it is it's systemized. It's weekly.
Yeah, and I've noticed I work with a lot of clients that have a lot of stuff going on, and whether they have illness or recovering from illness or being a caregiver themselves. They, the sandwich generation that we're in, and responsibilities are so much. And I've noticed that people have multiple calendars. And so I let people know, you are one person. You have 24 hours in a day like everybody else, one calendar, because that is just too much.
Yeah.
And when I initially looked at my calendar, there was things that I was forgetting to have those buffers in, of time. And so, I do need to take time out to eat lunch. I do need to take time out to eat dinner, so I was making those times for myself. And now I make time for, monthly massages and, just different. Yeah. So I am, trying to do for me some things. So
yes, that is wonderful. That's wonderful. So when did you notice? Let me share Kathy's message. She said, I asked her for this. So this past weekend was 329 straight weeks. 329. How many years is that? My calendar. 329 divided by 52. What is that? That's how long Kathy has been doing her weekly review. So, and Juliana, so when did you notice the difference from before you had these systems and were using them and getting more productive? And then when did you notice the difference that you were then able to, to focus on your health more? Can you pinpoint?
I don't know whether it was just within a few months of having, the setup. What I just love is that I'm able to reset. So even if life happens and throws back to you, and you kind of skip those couple of days because you had somebody was in the hospital, and so you couldn't do what you needed to get done.
Yeah.
I can always come back to my office and it's a reset. I know right where to start from and just pick it up again. I have loved that. And also, like with moving, many times that I've moved, I think my office is the easiest thing for me to move because I know the setup and I know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And just this morning, somebody asked me for something specific. I was able to go directly to my files, my reference files, go to that specific number, get it out. And I mean, I have saved so much time, not wasting time looking for things.
That's right.
And I have done that with clients many times. And then also I often hear from clients about, I was looking for that.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that. So many things are going through my head. I want to talk about them all. The first one that you're triggering for me, the first one is when we talked about procrastination a few minutes ago. And you said, sometimes we do need to put things off because we don't want to sacrifice sleep to power through something. And so what popped into my head with that was productive procrastination. Productive procrastination. That procrastination is not necessarily a bad thing. Like if you are putting something off so that you can get to bed and get a good night's sleep and just think it through, think about how much fresher you would be in the morning. I tell myself that sometimes when I'm really on a roll and I'm in that creation mode and I'm enjoying it. I'm arguing with Claude a little bit because we're going back and forth on things. AI, for those that don't know. And I stop and I say, you know what? I could keep going another hour, or I could stop, go to bed, get a good night's sleep, and then even get up an hour earlier and feel fresh, and then be able to.
And that's prioritizing yourself, making you number one. Yeah. And that's what I seem to have to consistently tell my clients. Yeah. They're asking for my help because they've let something go, and they have sacrificed. And so I want to talk about prioritize.
Yeah, I want to talk about some advice that you might have for people in a minute. So that Kathy said that was 6.3 years. 6.3 years of her doing her weekly review. Now that's consistency. That is consistency. And Demetrius is the consistency king. I think we're going to crown Kathy the consistency queen. So Demetrius is talking about you, Juliana. She nailed it. Keyword is reset. Powerful word. Yes, the reset.
And it's so important also, Dee, to not beat yourself up, because things do happen,
Right.
and if you do end up getting a cold, or you do have a slight headache, or get one of the migraines, it's going to happen. It's okay.
Okay.
Keep
Yep.
going, because you can reset.
That's right.
Back to the boundaries again, back to the priorities again, and don't beat yourself up.
Exactly. There's two things. Let me get these out before I forget them. Core structure with flexibility is one of them. And can you recover quickly is the other one. So what you just described, Juliana, is yes, life does happen. You're not always going. So that's why we say core structure. So you have a plan. Like, okay, I'm going to work out this many times this week. I'm going to do my meal prep on this day. I'm going to do my weekly review on this day. That's your plan, right? But life happens. A client has an emergency, or a family member, or somebody that that you're taking care of. Somebody needs something, and that can, in some points, take precedence. Now, if you're clear on what your goals are and what you're working on, then it's easier for you to say yes or no if somebody calls you for help. Because if somebody calls you for help and it's a true emergency, you're going to go. But if it's somebody that's just like, hey, can you stop by and catch up? Maybe not. But anyway, life does happen. So core structure with flexibility. And there's Kathy said I was typing core structure with flexibility. Yeah, absolutely. That came out of a conversation with me and Demetrius years ago. We were talking about DFIT, but it's PEI also. That's why the two go together, like peanut butter and jelly. So yeah, and or peanut butter and chocolate too. That works too. But yeah, it's like core structure. Have a plan. Have a default. Okay, this is your default plan. But when things go awry, then be able to roll with it, ebb and flow, go with it. And that brings me to the other thing that was in my brain was, can you recover quickly? So if you guys haven't heard this before, listening, Barbara says there's 4 questions to ask if a system is working for you, or if a system is organized. The 4 questions to ask are, if you think about your system, does it work? Does your system work? Do you like it? Does it work for the people it impacts, which could be somebody that lives in your home or somebody that you work with? Thank you, Eds. Does it work? Do you like it? Does it work for the people it impacts? And the 4th question is, can you recover quickly? And that's what you're talking about, Juliana, with the reset.
Mm-hmm.
Can you recover when things got out of whack? Can you recover quickly and reset and get back in your groove, basically? Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we had a client, we had a SOAR member once, and I just loved what she said. She said, she was in our SOAR group, and she said she was actually going on a vacation. So she'd been packing and planning for this vacation, and then she went on the vacation. And on her way back from her vacation, because she had planned ahead and her system was waiting for her SOAR system, her inbox, her actions, her reference, all the things that we teach, she said, I was relieved in advance. So she wasn't coming back to a mess. She wasn't coming back to, oh God, I got to go through all the mail. I have to do all these things. She did have to do those things, but she had a plan and she had the structure of the system to do those things. And she said, I was relieved in advance. And I just think that is just perfect. And I think that's what your reset and Kathy's weekly review, I think that, and Demetrius is following he's very systemized, very organized, and having that structure gives you the ability to have some flexibility, I guess you could say. So let me ask you this as we wrap up. Last week, we did one of our workshops. This workshop is called SOAR into Action. Okay. And for those of you that don't know, SOAR to us means systemize and organize with action and reference. Everything that comes into your life, and information related, I guess I could say, is an action, something you need to do, or it's a reference, something you just want to keep for future reference, or it's a toss. So that spells ART, action, reference, toss, right? So everything that comes in. So we did our SOAR into Action workshop last week, Juliana, and we had some newbies on that were sharing what they're dealing with, right? They're sharing that they, one person said she wanted to write a book. She's got a book in her and she already knows the title and she's got the plan and she wants to write a book, but her clutter is holding her back. And I can imagine she thinks, oh, I don't have time to sit down and write this book or work on this book because I should be doing this. I should be doing other things, or just maybe procrastinating because it's too overwhelming. Right. Mm-hmm. And there were others. Yeah, there were others on there that, which is common. I mean, these are the people that come to our workshops, and this was us too, back before, when I first found Barbara. So, what advice do you have for somebody who does have a goal or a dream? It's whether it's writing a book or spending more time with their family or going to get massages and manicures and pedicures and taking care of themselves, but they feel like they don't have time to do it, and they feel overwhelmed with clutter, whether it be physical clutter and or paper clutter, email clutter, all of those clutters, emotional clutter. What is your advice to them at this point?
Oh boy.
We need another 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, first of all, you give yourself grace and you be kind to yourself. Wow. And I just, you didn't get into this situation very easily. So it's going to take time to, build. As long as you're making progress, it's not perfection. So it's making progress, make a change, an improvement each week, make those, turn those routines into habits. And then it just becomes a natural for you to do it. So even though it seems like you just break it down into steps and just start with step one, and if that is dealing with actual physical clutter, then deal with the physical clutter and take those steps and setting that, whether it's just 20 minutes a day, because then that will help with the mental clutter. So one leads into another, so I'm just, you start small.
That's great advice.
And do the one step.
Yeah, one step at a time and one item at a time. We teach, when we're dealing with paper, we teach our clients to pick up one piece of paper at a time. Don't pick up a whole stack and then sit there and try to go, oh, let me do this or this. Pick up one item at a time, unless they're related. If it's something that you would staple together, that's fine to pick them up together. But it's one item at a time. And if it's something else physical, we always start with clear the obvious clutter off your desk as a place to start. So like things that do not belong there. It might be an old Diet Coke bottle or a hair tie or whatever that doesn't live there. It was not supposed to live there. Start there with one item at a time. Take it out, move it one item at a time. And you might feel like, oh, that's going to take me forever. But a little bit every single day, just a little bit, one item at a time. And then when we get to the paper and, creating a system to file the paper that you do decide to keep so that you can find it when you need it and have that time, that's what you're talking about, Juliana, that frees up your time to do other things because you are able to find things quickly and move on and answer people's questions and send things off. And we do those things one at a time, one item at a time as well. So yeah, I think that to overcome overwhelm is to don't look at the whole big, massive amount of stuff you have to do or clutter you need to address. Look at it one item at a time and then just step into it.
That goes with what Barbara was saying too, what action is next?
Yeah. What's the next action? And then I added, and when? What's the next action and when? When are you going to do it? And that's what our SOAR board was built for. It's so funny. I have to mention this and then we'll wrap up. There are a million productivity tools out there and people are always like, oh, here's the best. This is the best one. This is the best one. This is the best one. What's the best one? They ask us, what's the best one? And we built the SOAR board based on Barbara's methodology, based on is it an action, a reference, or a toss? If it's an action, what's the next action and when? And if it's a reference, is it a digital reference, just something that's online, or is it physical, like paper in your filing cabinet drawer? That's where we really shine. That's our secret sauce. So those of you that still have paper, so having a system and having a tool that helps you implement that system is key. And that will help you buy back your time that Juliana has done for herself. She's implemented these systems herself. We walk the walk. Part of our training for a certified productive environment specialist is you have to do this yourself first. You implemented this system for yourself first, and then you started doing it for clients. And that's why we do what we teach. We practice what we preach. Is that what you say? Yeah, we practice what we preach. We do what we teach. So I mentioned our workshop. So we did a live workshop last week. It is available for purchase. Ed's spent a lot of time breaking up the replay of that. It was a 2.5-hour workshop, and she broke up the replay into smaller, digestible bites of maybe 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 5-minute videos. And that is available for you guys to enroll in. It's normally $197 and it's $97 now. So you can go to workshop.productiveenvironment.com and you can enroll in the immediately accessible workshop. Like you can get in right now and start watching it and going through it. But then when we have our next live, you'll be able to come to that as well without paying anything more. You can get immediate access, and then you can also come to the next live one where we can work together. So go to workshop.productiveenvironment.com, check that out. Juliana, where do you want to send anybody to find more about you? Is Organized by Juliana the best place to find you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And you do work virtually as well as on site. That's correct? I said that right earlier, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. Very good. So if you want to learn more and you want to make health your priority, because you've seen she's the living, breathing, walking example of that, of being able, I love that, Juliana, because it wasn't even so much about you penciling in your health stuff. It was about that you were managing your tasks and projects in such an efficient way that you bought back some time that you could then put into taking care of yourself. And I just think that's beautiful. Beautiful. Anything you want to add as we wrap?
Oh, thank you. This was fun.
It was fun. We need more time. 30 minutes is not enough. We went 37 minutes. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Please share this video with someone else that you think it might help. And like this video. That really helps the algorithms. And if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, please do. Please subscribe. And that helps other people see our content. So we thank you for joining us. Thank you guys, Kathy and Demetrius, for chiming in. We appreciate the participation. So we'll see you guys on the next one.